Now, we have one of our co-workers of Alex here with us, Faith Broman. Faith, would you come, please? Faith, thank you.
Thank you for having this event. We need to get this story out, and so we're so grateful to have an audience for that. You know what his very first RN job at the VA was? COVID-19 clinic. That was March of 2021, and that was his first job. And then from there, he went to 3L, which is a medicine unit, and spent that time until he came to the ICU in May of 2023. And so there are a lot of people that know him. He, days of, low census in the unit, he goes out, and he is probably our best ambassador to the rest of the house because he is so nice and friendly, and he makes connections with everyone that he works with. I can't say that for for the rest of the staff, but he makes us look good. And I can't really speak to necessarily the intimate conversations that happen during the shift. There are other great people that can do that. But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that have sent wonderful messages of the connections he's made with patients, with family members, with other staff doing procedures in the unit that have taken a long time, to do, and his calm, compassion, presence, ability to do what needs to be done made a huge difference and certainly got their attention. So this has just been a horrible week this past week, and we've grieved a lot, and I challenge myself to move on from grieving, but there have been wonderful opportunities to participate in different events, and I just saw Amy earlier today at the Orchestra Hall, and I do think that his legacy makes me want to go forward.
Yes.
Yeah, and that forward is I tell you, anybody I meet, instead of asking them, how are you doing? Because I hate that question right now. I am going to say, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah. Right.
That's my legacy.
Thank you. Okay, we are very fortunate again. We want to go back to one of our co-workers, Angela Carella. Angela? Did I say right? Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to try to talk loud. I'm a really quiet person. Not really. So Alex was my friend. Alex was my coworker. I'm sorry. Alex was my friend. Alex was my coworker. We worked a lot of long night shifts together. Alex was really passionate about human rights, and he lived that and talked that. We had lots of conversations about what Alex felt about things. He showed up for his coworkers. We work in an environment that can be hard. We take care of some of the sickest people, and we do that because we want to. We want to take care of those people, and Alex showed up for those people. I was shocked to see my face with Alex in that video on the internet. I'm thankful that we have that moment captured. We don't always know the impact we're having on people when we go and do, our daily job and our daily career and our thing that we care about. But I'm telling you that the amount of people that have reached out to me personally and to my friends and family, people care. And it's so nice that you have done that. I didn't know how we were going to get through this week. It's been devastating, horrifying, terrible, all the things that you can imagine. And yet we're still taking care of the sick people. But you know what happened? Everyone showed up for us. We got cards and gifts and of food, coffee, candy, notes, flowers. Every day when we come in, there's something more that someone's saying, thank you, keep your head up. Thank you for doing this, Alex. Meant a lot to us, and I know he meant a lot to you. And all of those little hugs from you all that have lifted us has got us through this week. I don't know where we were going to be. It was really difficult to come to work, and we love our job. We do it because we like to, and we want to take care of people, and that's what Alex did, and that's what Alex wanted to do. And I can't thank you enough. The different ICU families that have reached out to. I wanted to quote one of the cards. I think it was Regions ICU, and I'm sorry to not name you all personally. I know like the University of Minnesota ICU teams and Fairview and Essentia and Masonic and Regions, and everybody has reached out, and you know, you think of that like just a small gesture, but to us, that was just a hug. It was a kindness, and you didn't have to do it, and you did it. And I thank you so much. And what the person said on the card, sorry, 1 second. I'm a little nervous. The person wrote, and they didn't leave their name, so thank you to who wrote this to us. The bonds we form in healthcare are unique and irreplaceable. We see the worst of the worst together. We support our patients and each other through some of the most challenging times. So when something tragic happens to one of us, we all feel it. This is how we make it through together. And that's the truth. The truth is, with you guys here, keeping Alex's voice, his cares, he lived to help others, and that's what he did. And we were so fortunate to know him and have him as a friend and care for him intimately on a daily basis. We relied on him, and he relied on us, and that's our family. And we're broken without him, and we miss him. And I just thank you all.
Thank Angela. All right. We have another co-worker here, Josh Green, who is the sergeant at arms for the local union here. Give Josh a hand as he comes. All right, Josh. All right.
Thank everyone for coming tonight. I did know Alex Pretti on a somewhat personal level as a colleague of his, but I'm choosing tonight to read the words of one of his coworkers that knew him just a little bit better than I did and unfortunately could not be here. Alex. I knew Alex only through our lengthy conversations at work over the last few years. We did not spend time together outside of these walls, both being introverted and proud of the space we created between work and home. But we did dream together about our ideal world in the wee hours of the night or our task-filled nature of the day shift. Alex was curious about everything, curious about what blend of coffee I had, curious about language, curious about the environmental impact of AI, curious about the best hikes in and out of town, curious about the bikes of Amsterdam and learning that the Twin Cities are considered North America's Little Amsterdam because they're completely connected by bike paths. Curious about all the intricate workings of the heart and how it heals on both objective and subjective levels. Curious about the long-term side effects of caffeine on the central nervous system, which would immediately send us to diving into PubMed to prove to one another that we could justify our obscene consumption of black coffee. Curious about how long it took to get non-canteen sushi for lunch. Curious why so many of us complained about not having time to sit because he insisted on his workers' rights for himself. He'd say, "I got this, just go take a break." Alex and I both worked in cancer research, though in very different capacities. We were both musicians. We discussed the impact of music on activating the parasympathetic nervous system in clinical trials for late-stage cancer. Alex may not have been a millennial, but he certainly had some Gen X DNA. He was an informed and socially conscious idealist, but colored with a touch of Gen X's staunch persistence, realism, self-reliance, and work-life balance. As an ICU nurse, there are so many micro moments that slow time to a standstill and frame a shift. When words elude us, you could count on Alex to find the silver lining. The man who could find peace before the dust settled. Alex's candor both ground a situation and simultaneously could disarm it. His ability to negotiate difficult situations with a simple "hell yeah," or "you got this," or "this is a mess and I need help," appealed to my Dutch directness. No fluff, no hand-holding, no overly wrought emotional disposition that would ultimately make me uncomfortable. Alex could read the room and, with silent negotiation, move a situation from a proper dumpster fire to an ambient embers with one subtle, understated comment or act of kindness. We spent hours unpacking our love for dogs and pets that we have lost and still mourn, our love for the outdoors, and the solemn moments accompanied on a long hike or bike ride. Our mutual hatred of inflammatory, ill-informed news, admitting that we would often change the channel in the patient's rooms given the opportunity. Alex never shied away from political banter with patients or colleagues, but Alex's perspective would occasionally force others to consider their own cultural paradigms. We spent time unpacking Kantian ethics and deontological principles of treating others the way you'd want to be treated. Far from more popular theological arguments neither of us subscribe to, though we both did admit that the beauty of the world must have been designed by a woman. I always told Alex that he would have been an incredibly gifted educator, and he would smirk and say, "Nah, I'll just precept. This is a hobby." Alex didn't research the unknown to be smarter than those around him, or to change people's minds or hearts. His intellectual curiosity was an intrinsic part of who he was, anchored in his DNA. Alex spent time researching and learning about where to find the world's most beautiful autumn foliage, tumor plasticity, and the environmental impact of cancerous cells, both holding equal importance in his world. Alex was genuinely my intellectual touchstone at work, and I looked forward to our unexpected conversations. And this was the poetry of Pretti. An unassuming intellectual and inevitably flawed man, an unwavering advocate of justice and equity, and unimaginably generous and dedicated neighbor and colleague to those in his presence. He was the consummate example of strength and truth in solidarity, a sentiment that was never false for him. The last conversation I had with Alex was on a night shift, him sitting in his signature black scrubs with his feet up on the candy drawer. We discussed dogs, being an aunt or uncle, and where we'd have the most modest home if we had won the Powerball. Alex had found a dog on Pet Finder. He just wasn't quite ready to adopt or rescue again after losing Jewel, his dog, but found that looking helped his heart heal more each time, each day. We talked about our top 5 places that we would like to live, and they were all centered around the proximity to his family and to outdoor adventures. We discussed our love for being an aunt and uncle. Alex wasn't flashy, and he didn't subscribe to capitalist ideology. He was grounded in his love of community and justice. I will miss Alex. I will miss him popping into the 5 in 5 meeting just a little too late to go unnoticed. I will miss his witticism and his signature phrases. I will miss his colorful skill in redirecting a confused patient. I will miss seeing him unpack the inner workings of bedside nursing to new students making their way through clinical rotations. I will miss his uncanny ability to qualify the feeling of flipping back and forth between days and nights, something only a handful of us still do. I will miss him humble bragging about his great vasculature as I have to pull out an ultrasound to place an IV in a patient. But I will mostly miss his legacy of earnestness and advocacy on all levels for his patients, his beliefs, his neighbors, his family, Mother Nature, science, music, and all contributing factors that make the world a more just and more beautiful place to live in. Thank you for being a hero, the hero you were, and continue to be for the people around the world. We didn't think we'd ever lose you that day, but your legacy of resistance in community is not lost on us. You've inspired and motivated the entire world with your final words. Are you okay? We are not okay. Thank you for remembering us. It's our job to mobilize and make things okay. We will resist and rise in power in honor of your legacy you leave behind. I hope you find a peaceful rest and a healed heart. Goodbye, my dear friend, Kelly.
Can we have another colleague, Jessica? Jessica, would you come, please? Okay.
I will try to keep this brief because I know in Minnesota fashion, nobody can feel their toes. So, hello, my name is Jessica Hauser. I hold the distinct honor of being Alex's final nursing student. I would love to stand here and tell everyone Alex and I had an immediate, unique bond. Maybe we did, but my gut is just telling me he just had a way of making everyone feel lucky enough to make them feel special and be his friend. Alex taught me that nursing is more than the skills and knowledge we carry into a room. It is the presence we bring with us once we enter it. He told me the ICU is a no-panic zone. Panic is rarely helpful, especially in medicine. He said, if something feels overwhelming, just pause, breathe, calm yourself. You will find that clarity waits just beyond that first rush of fear. Give yourself the space to respond instead of react. He told me nurses bring steadiness in moments of fear and uncertainty. Long after your shift ends, patients will remember how you made them feel. We saw his presence shine in his final moments, helping a woman from the ground, his arm around another. It is felt most deeply in the voices of the patients who have come forward, sharing stories of his compassion and those gentle, meaningful connections he created through the simplest acts of his care. He would be so proud to see us following his guidance in the wake of his death. The way communities have come together to grieve in a steady, calm, joy-filled, supportive way. How we stood up for peace and justice with focus and strength, just as he always did. Alex always was cheering me on. He knew even before I did when I was ready to learn something new. He would smile, his head half cocked, and say, "Jessica, you're up." My final shift before graduating, I asked him, "How will I remember all of this without you there helping me? Can I shrink you somehow and take you with me?" He laughed, as he often did, and told me he has given me all his best advice. I was ready, but I could always call him. He would be there. Alex, you may not be here in person, but your presence is felt. Thank you for understanding and believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I don't know if you can hear us, but we understand now it is our turn to carry on your service. Thank you for the impact you had, not just on my life, but on the lives of countless others. Your name has been spoken all over the world, from Minnesota to the halls of Congress, as a shining example of sacrifice and service. I know you would smile at that. Others have learned with those of us who knew you already knew. You are a good friend, a good neighbor, and a good nurse. Your light will be our beacon as we continue your tour of justice and healing. Thank you.
Okay, we have another colleague, Sister Betty Hatfield, come and have some words, please.
Anybody over there need a burrito? You guys get dinner? Sure. You want a burrito? Warm?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Anybody in the back side forward?
Let's take some coffee.
You guys serve food too. Warm burrito?
I've gone over these words 100 times, and they still don't feel like enough. Because how do you sum up a person who gave so much of himself, not just at work, but in every part of his life? My last memory of Alex is from his very last shift, the day before we lost him. It was shift change, and one of our patients had just come back from surgery. Things were busy, but he gave me a report like he always did. Calm, thorough, never rushed. I told him, I'm good. We've got everything. A little while later, after his shift had already ended, after he could have gone home, he came back to me while I was still settling that patient. He said, I gave the other patient his scheduled medications for you. Don't worry about it. You stay here, and you get this one settled. He stayed late, not because he had to, not for recognition, but because that's who he was. His priority was his patients, his coworkers, and the veterans we cared for. It was never about him. It was always about taking care of someone else. That's what Alex did every single day. He gave his time, he gave his energy, he gave his heart to others, and ultimately, he gave his life. I don't think he ever truly understood how much of an impact he made. But look around. Look at all of us here. Look at the lives he touched. Patients, coworkers, friends, family. People who felt seen and protected because of the kind of person he was. He believed in standing up for people. He believed in helping those who were overlooked, pushed aside, or treated unfairly. And he lived that belief passionately and consistently in the way he cared for others every single day. I will always remember him walking back to help me, even when he didn't have to. That small moment says everything about who he was. We will miss him. I will miss giving and receiving a report with him. I will miss his positive attitude that always started and ended my shift on a better note. Alex made a difference, a real one, and as long as we keep telling the truth about who he was, kind, brave, and endlessly giving, he will always be remembered. He will never be forgotten.
Yeah.